Hey, Jason Starr here, and the topic of this video is, does a character need to be likable? And I'm talking about characters in novels, characters in screenplays, characters in comics. When you're going out to pitch an idea and you have a character who might not necessarily be the hero, who might be the anti-hero in a story, who might be a gray character, who might be a little morally ambiguous, it's gonna be a challenge to win over those producers or those editors. The response you're gonna get from the get-go is, well, how are we gonna market this book? How are we gonna sell it? People need a character they like, who they identify with. Otherwise, it's impossible for a book to work. Now, ironically, this is completely untrue. Not only in current literature, or current TV, or current films, but historically. I mean, look at the work of Shakespeare, of Russian novelists like Dostoevsky. Look at classic film noir movies like Double Indemnity, The Postman Always Rings Twice, crime films from the 1970s, Scorsese films. Think about the TV shows that have been the most popular, the ones that have gone viral in recent years. The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. I mean, think about how many unlikable characters are on those shows, and I guarantee that if those shows didn't exist and you went in to pitch them right now, either as a book idea or as a TV pilot or as a screenplay, you would get a response that the characters aren't likable, and it would be very difficult to sell that idea. This is why The Sopranos was in development for many years before it actually got on TV. So it's always going to be a challenge, and you have to be prepared going in that you're going to have to win over editors and producers. And sometimes it's hard to sell these sorts of stories on a pitch or even with a sample chapter or two. You have to deliver the whole book, because part of making a book or a TV pilot or a movie successful with a so-called unlikable character is figuring out ways into the story where you could force the reader or viewer to identify with these characters. So it's a challenge from a writing standpoint to make a character not necessarily likable, but you want to make the character understandable. And I think there's a big distinction between that. I don't believe a character needs to be likable, but you do need to understand the character. You need to understand the motivations of the character. In the novels of Elmore Leonard, or the films that were made based on his books, like Get Shorty, Jackie Brown, the characters aren't traditionally likable, but you understand their motivations, you understand what they want, you understand where they're coming from. And if you can get a reader or a viewer to understand a character, the issue of likability is not that important. But I think during the pitch process, you are going to get a response from editors and producers that there's something wrong with your story because there's not a likable character. And that's where you have to dig deep in and not give into. Because if your passion is to write stories with dark characters, you should definitely go ahead and do it. You do have to be prepared that you're going to get a little backlash at times. You're going to have to prove yourself for the execution of the story. But you shouldn't let comments like that dissuade you from writing the stories that you want to write. This goes for writing about dark characters, but also it goes for if you want to write in a particular genre. Don't let editors or producers tell you what to write. You write what you want to write, but you just make sure you execute it and you deliver it and you show them that this can work and this can be successful. So that's the tip for the day. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, and you could support me by buying one of my books. Start with Panic Attack or maybe Twisted City. Thanks.